Ms. Nielsen, you say the birth of your 2-year-old son, Kaden, literally saved your life. And to repay him, it is imperative that you make it a point to have his daddy in his life. So you've summoned the defendant, Mr. Davis, to court to prove to him that he is your baby's biological father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Davis, you claim it is commendable that Ms. Nielsen has changed her life, but unfortunately, she cannot undo her past. You are 100% certain that you are not her son's father and claim to have physical proof to support your doubt. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Nielsen, how did Kaden save your life?
I struggled with an addiction for numerous years, and when I found out I was pregnant with Kaden, I was able to go into rehab and stay in rehab until had Kaden. And I still today am clean from the time I was pregnant. So I'll have 3 years clean in September.
That's wonderful. That is wonderful. And so this child really did change your life in more ways than one.
He saved my life.
And so you believe Mr. Davis is Kaden's biological father?
Yes, I believe he is.
Tell me why.
When I found out I was pregnant, I went into rehab. In the past few months before I went into rehab, I spent a lot of times with Mr. Davis. I actually stayed at his cousin's house, and he was with me almost every night at his cousin's house. So we were together for a few months before I went into rehab.
You all were having a sexual relationship and presumably not using protection?
Yes.
Mr. Davis, do you remember this relationship?
Yes, I do, Your Honor. It was not a relationship. It was just something I was just pursuing. We were just having sex. I was already in a relationship.
Oh, all right. So you were in a relationship, but you were having a sexual relationship with Ms. Nielsen.
Exactly.
But were you using protection?
No.
All right. So that is what lands you in paternity court. Moving on. So you having a sexual relationship with her. She says it's during the window of time that she conceived.
Well, see, I don't know about that because when I first met Ms. Nielsen, we were both in a place where we was trying to get our life together. And at that time, I used to tell her that she was pregnant then, but she said she wasn't. So after we left that place, that's when we stopped pursuing each other a little bit more. So when she did tell me that she was pregnant, I told her, what are you telling me for? Because I knew that you had been with other guys. You
felt like when you started a sexual relationship with her, she was already pregnant.
Yes.
And you said that to her.
Yes.
Did he tell you that, Ms. Nielsen? I think you're pregnant already?
We met in October of 2012. I got pregnant in May of 2013 and had the baby February of 2014. So I was not pregnant when we met.
So, Ms. Nielsen, when you told him you were pregnant, what happened?
So his phone number changed, so I really didn't know how to get a hold of him.
So you didn't speak to him much while you were pregnant?
No, until Kaden was a few months old, I got a hold of him, and he denied it.
So you spent the entire pregnancy by yourself?
Yes. But I honestly, in my heart, I believe that Mr. Davis is Kaden's father. Because of the lifestyle I was living, supporting my drug habit, there were other people I had sexual relations with.
Makes you think
but I was very cautious with those people, and it was a lifestyle supporting my drug habit.
So what makes you think that I was the father doing?
Because we didn't use protection, and we were together.
And you used protection
compared to one time with these other men to multiple times with you.
Because I saw you with other guys.
Yeah, you were there. I know that.
You saw her, what do you mean you saw her?
Physically with other guys. We was at a place and she brought other guys into the place and told me to leave out.
And you were still having sex with her with no protection?
Yes, that was yes.
Because the money, it was all about the money and using. We were both had a different lifestyle at that time.
Understood. Understood. So in your mind, Ms. Nielsen, did you feel like this sexual relationship with Mr. Davis could turn into something? Did you feel like maybe there was a chance for a relationship there?
Yeah, honestly, I did. I had feelings for Mr. Davis, and he was well aware of that. He was playing me, obviously, because we said we loved each other. He would tell me
things. I've
never
told you that.
Did. And we would talk on the phone. I was in a different city. I would travel on the train to come spend time with him. There was a time we talked about getting a place and
Negative.
being
It was never
together.
like that.
There was a time
We never
talked
talked about anything but.
But I honestly, I didn't know if he was
Never.
real. I knew about his other
You know,
life.
I never
so
had feelings for you.
Now I know that.
Mr. Davis, you're having sex with this woman for a course of months,
Yes, Your Honor.
and you admit you're not using protection.
Yes.
Now, okay, if you told her you don't really have feelings for her, well, so be it. I can't change that. But you have to understand that you are most certainly a possibility if the window of conception matches up to the time you're in a sexual relationship with her.
I know it was other people involved that could also be the father.
Understood.
Your Honor.
Yes.
I have a birth certificate, and he has a last name of H. I mean.
Let me see that, please, Ron. This is evidence. This is a birth certificate, you said?
Yes.
This is a copy of Kaden's
Kaden.
birth certificate. When you look at the last name, you don't see yours.
Exactly.
So you're saying.
Nor hers.
Or hers.
Exactly.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell.
At the time I was pregnant and I was in the hospital giving birth to Kaden alone, all by myself. I didn't have any friends or family by my side. My whole lifestyle I let go of because it's in the past. The one man that is by my side is incarcerated. We communicate correspondence, mail, and on the phone calls, and he will always be in my life. He'll be out next year, and if he's in my life, he's in Kaden's life.
So you gave Kaden just a friend's last name?
Yes. But he's a good man, and I believe he will be there for my son if no one else is.
All right. And listen, you had gone through a very traumatic evolution, we'll say, and I understand that. But what we're here discussing is Kaden's paternity.
Yes.
And so as we talk about Mr. Davis's doubt, we have to
valid.
understand that, yes, that now a birth certificate with another man's last name on it gives him even more reason to doubt.
It's another guy that says that he's most definitely the father, that she's
claiming. So there's another gentleman claiming that he's
most definitely
Kaden's
the father.
biological father?
Yes, Your Honor.
So that's Mr. Turner. He's
Yes.
in court today in the hallway. That's the other gentleman he's talking about?
I met Mr. Turner years back. We also partied and had that lifestyle together. It was pretty much a relationship out of convenience. I honestly do not remember at the time of conception being with this man. I remember telling him I was pregnant, just in general, telling him, oh my gosh, I'm pregnant. I really need to get my life together and realize I need to do something because I'm still using and I found out I was pregnant. And he supported me, going to rehab and was very encouraging about that.
He says he's Kaden's biological
Yeah, I
father.
haven't seen him in years, and 6 months ago, he says he's turning his life around and shows up in the city where I live, and he says he wants to see Kaden, and I mean,
Yeah.
So,
he's-
but Mr.
but he's-
Davis is saying his doubt stems from the fact that he knows you having sex with other people during the window of conception, and that Mr. Turner is claiming the baby is his.
Yes, Your Honor. And
That would make the average man doubtful. Yes. I want to hear from him. Ron, will you please escort Mr. Turner in the courtroom, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, Mr. Turner. Thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome. Hello, Your Honor.
We're here discussing the paternity as it relates to baby Kaden. And I'd like to know why you believe you are Kaden's biological father.
I had known about her, her pregnancy, and I moved away, and then I lost contact with my phone's information. So my daughter set up a Facebook page for me, and she friend requested me and seen me. Mm-hmm. And then when I seen Kaden, I looked at him and I said, wow. I say, he really looks like my other son. I believe that he was my child. He looked like me. I got a gap between my teeth. He had a gap between his teeth. He has a lot of characteristics similar. He acts like he likes act like all my children,
And you admittedly were in a sexual relationship with Ms. Nielsen during the window of time Kaden was conceived.
Yes, Your Honor.
You acknowledge that as well, Ms. Nielsen?
honestly don't remember. I remember we had a relationship pure out of convenience, and I was around him at that time.
Okay.
Yes.
What is your involvement with Kaden now, Mr. Turner?
When she contacted me on Facebook, I made arrangements to come out and see him. So he likes to go to parks and he likes to run. So we run You know, he runs, and I'm like, it's an all-day affair. We go out and we eat. I've been, you know, I've been on several, you know, been on several visits, you know, to see him. They were all good, you know. To me, I thought they were all good.
Now, did you let him spend time with Kaden because you believe he is one of Caden's possible biological fathers?
I've told him from day one that I believe that Mr. Davis is his father.
Mr. Turner, has she ever told you, Miss Nielsen ever told you that you are Caden's biological father?
She told me that she had doubts. She didn't. She said she did not know.
So
Not Miss
when
Nielsen,
she
I did.
introduced you to Kaden, how did she introduce you? This is my mommy's friend? How did
No.
she introduce you?
She didn't introduce me as dad, and for that reason, you know, I never pushed the issue, because I said before I wanted him to call me dad, I wanted to know if I was his true father.
And have you been providing for Kaden?
I've tried to make attempts to provide for him.
He's not doing
I should
anything.
come.
Nobody has been there.
But-
Nobody has bought Kaden a pack of diapers, a sippy cup, a toy, a train. No, nobody even knows what he likes. He couldn't tell you anything about Kaden.
Your
He
Honor,
says he knows Kaden.
Your Honor, if
So you
I-
feel like
went to
you're
the
all
park
by yourself?
3 times. I am all by myself, and maybe I put myself in that position. But if I could possibly prove who Caden's father is, which in my heart I believe is Mr. Davis, I would like to do so. Mr. Turner has not provided. He has offered to provide every time he gets paid. 3 separate instances, he offers to bring pull-ups. Then for 2 days, his phone's lost, or he doesn't answer his phone, and he does not show up. I've told Kaden DT's coming. He does like DT, because DT plays with him and takes him, you know, he remembers that time, because he did play one-on-one attention. Any kid would like that. And he doesn't come, and then Caden's going to the door all day, DT, and he's not there.
See, that's the whole point. She looks for me. She talks about nobody's there for her, and she looks for support. If I'm
Basically,
working
I would like
provide
to
support,
prove to
if
Mr.
I
Turner
cannot
that
get
Kaden
there
is
when it's
not
the
his
very
One at a
son.
time. What I'm not understanding is you seem to be angry with Mr. Turner because he is being irresponsible as it relates to bringing the pull-ups and doing what he says, but you said that you truly believe with all your heart Mr. Davis is Caden's biological father, so why are you mad at him at all?
I'm mad because he presented the situation. I would be mad at anyone
what?
if they
I
said, we're
got us
coming
here
over
today.
tonight
I'm
for
the one
dinner,
that
and they
got
don't
us here
show
So
up.
you're
Yeah.
angry because
About
he
the
makes
situation
promises he
prevented,
doesn't
and
keep.
he doesn't keep.
All right, Mr. Davis, why are you so doubtful?
Well, she told me she was pregnant, and by me knowing her lifestyle and what she was capable of doing, and me seeing her with other guys physically, I knew that it could also be someone else that could be the father.
Okay, so you doubted because you knew she was having a sexual relationship with someone else as well.
Right.
But you did know that you were also having a sexual relationship with her. What else? Any other reason to doubt?
He doesn't really look like me any kind of way.
You don't feel like the child looks like you.
No, I think he looks like he could be another nationality.
You think the child's another nationality?
Yes.
Well, Miss Nielsen is another nationality. Maybe he's a blend of
A
two.
Mexican or something.
I honestly believe that he is Caden's father, and I don't have much family. I only have a mother. I've never had a big family growing up, and that always, I feel like I always wish I had a family. So if I could find a family that is in fact Caden's and they could do right by him, I would like to provide that for him.
All right, at this point, I've heard enough testimony, and there definitely is doubt here. And Miss Nielsen, it's time to get the answers for you and Kaden.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'm ready for the results, Ron.
Yes, ma'am.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Nielsen versus Davis, when it comes to 2-year-old Kaden, it has been determined by this court. The biological father is... It has been determined by this court. The biological father is... Mr. Davis.
All right. Okay.
How do you feel?
I feel good. So
Good.
now my sons can know their little brother.
Good, good. That's what we want to hear. And I see, Miss Nielsen, that you have tears in your eyes in this moment. What are you feeling?
Mixed emotions. I'm happy to finally know, but I'm scared for Kaden. I'm scared for his future because I want him to have a good father and I want him to have a good life and have everything he deserves. And I just really want you to step up and be there, Rodney. Please, he needs you. He needs you more than any child needs a father.
Ms. Fleming, you are suing the defendant for fraudulent misrepresentation because you say she deceived you and your son, Calvin, into believing her daughter, Alina, is his child. You've petitioned the court for a paternity test and are asking the court to award you $500 in expenses. Ms. Jemison, you admit you slept with another man around the time of conception, but you are certain Ms. Fleming is your child's grandmother.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Fleming, why is it so important for you to get a DNA test done today?
Your Honor, it's so important to me, first of all, because I love Adreana and I love Alina. I love Alina with all my heart. And we want to, as my family needs to know, we need to know the truth. My son has asked me several times. He explains that he does not want his family to not be certain. So that is why we're here today. And there have been several things that have taken place, and Calvin needs to have this test. He's written me letters saying that he wants to know. So I have proof here.
I would like to see that proof. Jerome, will you hand me the evidence, please? And this is?
That's a letter from him, Your Honor, that he sent me last month stating that he wants to have this test taken. So it is not just me.
The letter reads, I want a DNA test as soon as possible because I love Alina to death, and I really don't want this to get any deeper than it already is. So if there's any way I can get it done, I would really appreciate that.
Yes, Your Honor.
So he is unable to have the DNA test now?
Yes, ma'am, he's unable.
Because he's in jail, he's incarcerated.
Yes, he's incarcerated.
And so we were able to perform a grandparentage test.
Yes.
To be able to get you some answers today.
Thank you.
So what is your relationship with Alina right now?
When all of this stuff first came out, and I found out that my son could possibly be having a child, I wasn't certain. Adriana was very honest about the fact that she wasn't 100% sure. So we kept our distance, but as we've gone through and she's here and she's born and we've had reason to believe that she is ours, I've spent time with her and gotten very close to her, and I do love her.
And so, Ms. Jemison.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe there is reason to doubt it all?
Yes, Your Honor, I do believe that.
Well,
there's
please
reason
tell the
to
court
doubt.
about that.
I was with somebody else. The other guy was a one-time thing. Calvin was basically staying with me.
You really believe Calvin is the father?
Yes, Your Honor, I really believe that he's the father. There's no doubt in my mind that he's not the father of Alina at all. And I know because my daughter was born with a 6-digit, and that the extra digit
Your
is
Honor,
genetically passed from the father's side of the family.
Your Honor, I'm a nurse, and I know that it can't just be on one side of the family. His grandmother, my son's grandmother, is a female, and if she passed the gene on to her family, how can it only be passed by a male? I know that it cannot just be passed on one side. There's also other reason with the extra digit for me to believe that this may possibly not be a genetic trait from my son because we were in the delivery room when Adriana was having the baby. And one of her family members mentions that she has a sibling that was born with the same thing.
But he has a separate father. Me and my brother do not share the same father.
So what you found out, that there was a sibling that also had a 6th digit?
Yes.
And so that then fueled your doubt more?
Yes, it did. It was a whole different her after she heard that from them.
And so when you initially heard about this 6th digit, that made you believe that the child was your son?
Absolutely. And
because you knew that was a family trait?
Yes, and I allowed myself to feel wholeheartedly, and I did not restrain my feelings from that point on because I felt like this was my granddaughter.
So that was your moment where you said, this is his son.
Yes.
I'm this child's grandmother.
Absolutely.
Let me jump in.
Yes.
Let me get involved.
Right, because my son wasn't there, so I felt like I had to be there for her because he's not available.
That is admirable.
And Your Honor, I have evidence here. I was very excited about the baby. I brought on her cake for the shower. I can't wait to meet you, Alina.
I'd like to see that evidence.
I was very excited that she was coming.
She was excited. I'm not saying that she wasn't, but...
And you were truly excited.
Yes, absolutely.
You were going to be a grandmother.
Yes.
You heard about this trait. You said, okay, this is my son's
Yes.
child.
But there's more traits that leads that it's his daughter. She's born with a lazy eye. My daughter has a lazy eye. And I did notice a while ago that Natasha had a lazy eye in the same exact eye, and it's the same thing. And my daughter was born with dimples. His grandmother has dimples. I don't have dimples, but I don't know where the dimples come from.
Right, I don't know.
But his grandma was born with dimples. The other guy don't have dimples. He don't have an extra digit. He don't have any of that. It's more that leads to Calvin. My daughter is very long. Calvin is very long and very tall. She is very light-skinned. I am light-skinned, but I'm not as light as how my daughter is.
Beautiful little girl.
So I just know that that's his baby. And with the 6th digit, I asked the other guy about it. He told me if something's wrong with your baby, that don't run in my family. Once I heard that, I just called Calvin and I asked him. I said, does anybody in your family has an extra digit? He says yes. Then later on in the evening, his mom called and said, your grandma has the same exact digit, in the same exact hand, in the same exact spot.
Really?
That's exactly where her extra digit is. Same exact hand, same exact spot. And I've been with Calvin for 2 years now, on and off, messing around with him. And I just know that that's his baby.
I don't see the resemblance. The baby looks just
I do.
like
I
her
see the
mother.
resemblance. She does
And
look
I
just like me,
don't
but
see the
she does have features that points to him.
Ms.
She has
Fleming,
it on
you've
her.
brought
Those are
a
his
witness
lips.
today. I'd like to
have.
hear from her. Please stand, ma'am. State your name.
Markia Elliott,
Markia, you are...
his sister.
All right. And so, ma'am, what do you know about this situation?
Let me first say that me and my brother are the closest out of all of my siblings. You know, we're only 18 months apart. So, you know, he was calling me and things of that nature, and I would come get him and Adreana if he needed me to. So I know that he was with her at times, but I've heard rumors in the beginning, not even from him, saying that, you know,
Exactly.
she was loose. And
I was
I know
not
for a
loose.
I know,
I was not loose.
I
I
know
was
for
single.
a fact. I don't know why she's so adamant, because she states herself that she slept with other people.
I
So
slept with one
where
other
does
guy.
that, where,
Yes,
how
not
do you,
other people, just one
okay,
other guy.
it takes one time to make
Okay,
a baby.
you're right.
You say he didn't want to be with her for specific reasons. What reasons?
She did have a boyfriend and she was still dealing with him.
No, me and my ex-boyfriend were long over with before
You broke up because
I
of
broke
him
up with
too.
my boyfriend for
You
Calvin.
broke,
I
okay,
wasn't.
okay, so you were messing
No,
with
but
him.
I
You don't
wasn't
even
messing around with my
mess with.
ex-boyfriend anymore. It's no
Oh,
way
okay.
that it's his at all.
Okay. I knew for a fact the date of conception, you had sex with someone else, and he was with other people, she was with other people. It's just very messy.
So it was like an open relationship
Yeah,
with no
basically-
commitment. Both were
basically-
sleeping with other
friends.
people.
Yeah, they were best
Yeah,
friends.
they were friends.
And
They
if
were
she's
friends.
getting pregnant by her best friend, who knows?
Before all this happened, Markia knew nothing about me. She didn't really know me. She just heard hearsay. I never really conversated with her, and it's still like that to this day because it's just tension and animosity between each other because of what she's heard. So she never really liked me.
That's what my
But once she wrote that, I can't wait for her to get here, I was kind of, excited, like, okay, Markia might come up to see her when I had her. Markia was nowhere to be found. She never came up there. She never texted me congratulations, but
Oh.
she was on Facebook saying she couldn't wait for her niece to get here.
Okay, I said that, and then after that, at the hospital, when my mom was there until 3 o'clock in the morning with
You're
you.
right. Your mom
going
was there with me.
Okay, let me
I am very
speak, let me
appreciative of your mom
speak,
being there
let
with me. I'm not
speak,
saying.
Let me speak.
Speak.
She went to work the next day, sleepy as ever. She's doing all of this, and she calls me crying, saying that she finds out that her sibling had an extra finger also. And this is something that I believe that she was told. I don't believe that.
I was not.
Listen, lady.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Markia, what you're saying is you believe she always knew
Yes.
there was a family member on her side that also had the 6th finger.
Yes, I think
but
that
was
it's
hiding that
inevitable.
information
Yes.
purposefully.
Yes.
Miss Fleming, in that moment when you heard about her family member also having the 6th finger, that was the moment you began to
dropped
doubt.
to my feet.
She was so
I
different.
had everything in me
Good.
that it
She
took
should.
to
That's good.
stay
That's
there
okay.
the whole time because I was like, what do I do? Do I stay or do I go? And now I'm back at 50-50 again. So when the baby's born, I'm looking for anything. I'm grasping for straws. Does she have his fingers? Does she have his toes? Does
Right.
she have anything? But I can't find anything. So the very next day, I went up to the hospital and I sat down and I told Adreana and I talked to her mother and said, we're going to have to do a DNA test. I'm a very black and white person. I can't deal with gray. I can't not know, and it's not fair to her. She's beautiful. She has to know. It's not right.
You submitted a statement from your son. It reads, no one on my side of the family sees a resemblance in Alina, so there's a very high doubt that she's not mine. I don't really know, but I strongly believe and want her to be mine. I love her. I just don't see a future with her if Alina is not mine. Her meaning Miss Jemison. He doesn't see a future with Miss Jemison if Alina is not his.
I think he'll have a hard time getting over the fact that she's not his. He wants nothing more. He wants nothing more in this
He
world.
really and truly
He
wants.
really and truly wants it. And he told me that he feels like the baby is his. He doesn't feel like she's not his. He doesn't like the tension. He doesn't want the tension between the two.
It's only them that don't see that that's his baby.
Side of the
I've
family
taken
believes
her
that.
to his
Father's
previous
side.
jobs. I've taken her out anywhere, and people that know what he looks like and then know what I look like, when I first brought her home, when people seen her, they like, wow, she looks like both of you. She looks like you, but you could see Calvin. I brought him to his job.
100%.
She's like, wow, she looks just like him, but she looks like you. Like, there's a resemblance that they look alike, but she favors me more. My mom
And
has
Miss
genes like that.
Jemison, you've brought a witness. I'd like to hear from him. Sir, would you stand, please?
Yes, Your Honor.
Stand at the podium. And your name?
My name is Calvin Carthon Sr.
You are. So you are Mr. Carthon's father,
Yes, I am.
and you are standing next to Miss Jemison.
Yes, I am. And the reason being is because I'm in full support of Adreana. I would represent my son and my son wishes, and I know he would be here with her right now as we speak. And that's why I'm here.
So you believe
Your Honor, he hasn't
that
talked to my
your
son.
son's belief
Your Honor,
that
he
spoke
hasn't
about it.
talked to my son since my son has gotten arrested.
No,
He
that's
hasn't
not
talked
true.
to
He
him.
spoke to him last week. I put him on a three-way.
Oh,
Yeah.
Spoke to
that
his
was the
son.
first time
I
in 6
spoke.
months. I'm sorry.
So, Mr. Carthon, you believe your son is the father. You believe Alina is your grandchild.
Well, Your Honor, we have to first keep in mind that there is a young child at stake here, you know, the future of this young child, regardless of what, whether CJ is the biological father or not.
I am too, but I feel like we still have to have the truth and we have to know, regardless.
I have no objection.
So, Miss Fleming, I want to take a moment and understand your lawsuit. You are suing for $500 in expenses for items you've purchased for Alina. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you bring proof of any of those expenses?
No, Your Honor. After we discussed it, and I just had a hard time pulling things together and to even move forward in that direction with trying to tally what I've done for her. At the end of the day, it's not about the financial aspect of it. It's about the baby. So yes, we did talk about that, but I have a very hard time attempting to pursue that because I care about her. I care about the baby, and whatever I gave her is hers.
So, Ms. Fleming, are you saying you'd like to withdraw your claim?
Yes, ma'am. I just want to know if this is my baby.
So that claim is dismissed. I think at this point, the best thing to do is go to the results. It's time. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. As I mentioned early, in order to determine if Alina is the child of Calvin Carthon Jr., we performed a grandparentage test using your DNA, Ms. Fleming and Mr. Carthon Sr. It will basically determine the relatedness of the grandparents to the child, okay? In the case of Fleming v. Jemison, in the case of Fleming v. Jemison, pertaining to 3-month-old Alina Carthon, it has been determined by this court, Ms. Fleming and Mr. Carthon are not related to Alina Carthon.
I was hoping I was wrong.
I'm sorry I was not able to give you all the answer you wanted.
I'm going to be 100% behind her regardless.
Adreana.
Ms. Jemison, I do have to ask, are you certain this other gentleman is her biological father?
Yeah. I hate him. He's horrible. Horrible.
Have to deal with him, Adreana.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm so embarrassed.
It's okay. It's okay. We're gonna take care of her.
Oh my God.
Here, baby, it's okay.
Oh, Marky, I'm sorry, but it is the other guy's baby. I'm sorry, but I didn't know. Okay. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Ms. Jackson, you and your mother opened your case because your childhood sweetheart has now become your adulthood nightmare. You say the defendant and his meddling mother are now denying your daughter, Micaiah. You say you need help because your daughter has cerebral palsy and you want the defendant to man up. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Brennan, you testify that you have substantial evidence that fuels your doubt. You say you are not the father, but know who is. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Jackson, you want the defendant to man up.
Yes, ma'am.
Explain.
I just wish he would be there for his child and step up to the plate with his responsibilities, pretty much, and be there like he was in the beginning when he didn't have a doubt.
What is he doing currently for Micaiah?
Zero. Nothing.
So, Ms. Jackson, I can see the tears in your eyes. How does that make you feel as a mother? I can see the pain. Can you express that to the court?
It hurts a lot, actually, knowing that somebody so beautiful that took after both of us, that was made from both of us when me and him were thick as thieves. And everything just got torn apart because somebody didn't want to be a father.
Mr. Brennan,
Yes,
you
Your Honor.
don't believe you are Micaiah's biological father.
I have doubts.
You do.
Yes.
And is the testimony of Ms. Jackson true that in the beginning you were there?
In the beginning, yes, I was always there. And I actually got kicked out of their house. That's why I wasn't there. And they don't let me see her. I've asked for a paternity test before.
Oh my God.
I've even got messages of that, but
This
it's okay.
is crazy.
I've asked for a paternity test more than once. Haley's told me no. And they tell us we'll never see the baby again. I mean,
You missed out on all these years, and I think it's funny. I really do.
I try to see her every year.
It's funny and pathetic because you can sit there and act like, oh, poor victim me, and then Chris, oh, poor victim me. But you guys could have done a paternity test a long time ago.
Instead of
Way long time ago. So you missed out.
Yeah.
You did.
Why should we have to fight for a paternity test when...
You don't have to fight for one.
When, yeah, and
You
they
don't have to
always,
fight for one.
That's what happens every time
Yeah,
we try
that's
to
what
talk to
happens.
them.
So, Ms. Jackson,
And I'm not listening to that.
When's the last time Mr. Brennan
Well, you're gonna
saw...
have to, aren't you? Sorry.
When's the last time Mr. Brennan saw Micaiah?
3 years ago this December.
All right, so let's go back a bit because I do want to understand how we got here. You all were in a relationship, you were boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yes, Your Honor.
Sweethearts, high school sweethearts.
Yes.
And at some point you find out you're pregnant.
Yes.
During that pregnancy, was Mr. Brennan there?
He was there throughout the
He
whole
was
pregnancy.
supportive.
Oh, yes.
Take me back to that time and explain to me what was going on then.
Okay, so I found out I was pregnant. We started talking about everything, and he was there. We hung out all the time. We walked together almost every day whenever it came down to getting ready to have a child. When my water broke, I woke him up and he immediately jumped up and took me to the hospital.
During your pregnancy or at the birth, did he ever question paternity?
He did.
He did?
He did.
What happened?
Before I had got pregnant, I was with one of my exes when me and him were on a break. And then after that, we got back together and we were super close, inseparable. When I lived with him at his mother's house.
She disappeared for 3 weeks, Your Honor, and then she comes back a week later and she's pregnant.
Ms. Jackson disappeared for 3 weeks?
She disappeared for 3 weeks,
That's
came
false
back.
information.
So was that the beginning of your doubt, Mr. Brennan?
Through our whole relationship, I was cheated on. I kept getting cheated on. So I in the back of my head,
And you cheated on me all the time.
So you always
At
had
your
this
mom's
doubt.
house.
I'm not the one that gets
And
pregnant.
took pictures of it and put it on Facebook
I'm not the
and
one
showed
that gets-
everybody
I'm
that
not the
you were
one-
cheating on me the whole time.
I'm not the one that got pregnant. You get pregnant now.
Oh,
Well,
but
that's
you,
what happens when...
but you can get...
So listen, I can see that this relationship got very messy, and that's why we're here to try to sort through this, because at the end of the day, we have beautiful little Micaiah,
Beautiful little
and
girl.
she needs to know who her biological father is. Ms. Winters, I want you to finish your testimony.
You know, he loved this girl since they were kids, 14 years old. And of course, I mean, he had loved her. This is all hard on him, Your Honor. But yes, she disappeared for 3 weeks. She comes back a couple weeks later pregnant. And it's like, I've always had the doubts, but I don't want to have the doubts because she's beautiful.
So take me to the day Micaiah was born. Were you at the hospital, Mr. Brennan?
Of course.
You were there.
I picked her up and carried her to my van and sped to the hospital and ran past every red light I possibly could to get her there.
Did you sign the birth certificate?
No.
Ms. Jackson, I do need to ask if Mr. Brennan was that present and very much involved in Micaiah's birth and her care, why wasn't he allowed to sign or be on the birth certificate?
He did, Your Honor. I had the whole packet, and he had permission to sign anything because I was under the influence of the drugs at the time.
No.
All right. And so
I never seen it. I still ain't seen the birth certificate.
Mom, I want to understand, when's the first time you even found out Mr. Brennan had doubt?
Last October.
Tell me what happened.
I texted his mom and said, do you want to see little Precious for Halloween? I was going to stop over and let her see her. Nope, it wasn't her grandkid. And I got evidence right here.
I'd like to see that evidence. So this is a text message between you and Ms. Winters.
Yes.
All right. Ms. Jackson, you text, oh yeah, she's not your blood. Okay, I will see you in court, sweets. So you know who the daddy is? And Ms. Winters, you respond, Haley knows. That's why all these years she did not want a DNA test.
And that proves I've asked.
And that's a lie.
And then Ms. Winters sends a photo and it says, here's the real daddy, dumb. Look at him. Look at the baby. Wow, so stupid. And this is a picture of the other man.
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Which looks just like
So,
me.
Ms. Winters, why did you send this text?
Your Honor, this gentleman, he's been away for a while, and he kept calling me every week. He's friends with Johnnie. I get a phone call after about a year talking to him, and he goes, Mama, Chris, he goes, I need to tell you something. I said, what, honey? Just like a son, just like a son. He goes, Haley told me I was the daddy.
That's really where my doubts start coming from.
That's false also.
So, Mr. Brennan, had you ever asked, this is a guy you know, so had you ever asked this guy if he'd had sex with Ms. Jackson, your high school sweetheart?
Oh, I already knew they was. I knew they was. That's how we became friends, is because he was truthful with me and told me what happened in their past. And he told me everything, and I don't know why, but me and him got real cool. We became friends, and then...
Wait a minute, what did he tell you specifically?
Yeah, I don't know if you want to go there.
Okay, well, smooth it out and give me the general details about the fact...
He slept with her before, during, and after we was together. Who knows when they actually slept together? It was before, during, and after. I don't know if it was while,
And when you have the false
at the
information.
same time, I don't know. Well, I don't see why he would lie to me, though. Why would he lie to me?
Okay,
I
then
don't
why would
really
he
know.
lie to me and tell me stuff that you were doing behind my back is why he became friends with you?
That's what I'm saying.
Whatever.
Mr. Brennan, when you look at Micaiah,
She looks
you look
just
at
like
those
me.
pictures.
She looks just like me.
She
but
does.
if you
Why
open
do you
that
have
other
a doubt
picture
then?
up, she looks
You let
just like
somebody
him
else
too.
get in your head and be the reason why you're not seeing your child.
Yeah.
I've tried to see her. I mean, I
I
shouldn't
can
have
see
to
the
fight
tears in your eyes. I can see
I
this really
shouldn't
means
have to
something
fight.
to you.
to see my baby. Yeah, it does. I love that girl more than anything else in my life, and she's the only reason why I moved and keep pushing forward, because I don't have nothing else in this world. There's nothing else for me here. No, I didn't. You had all the other guys in the whole town. Please.
So I heard as you were expressing yourself, you said when you look at her, she looks like you.
She looks exactly
and
like
then
me.
you feel like she also looks like the other guy.
He looks just like me. Me and him look like twins, though.
Why are you in tears, Miss Jackson? What are you feeling?
I just know who my baby's dad is, and it just sucks that we couldn't have had it. And I have to be here. It upsets me.
Yeah,
it frustrates
me
me. that all this even has to even happen when it could have been done a long, long time ago between me and him and nobody else. If there's really that much of a doubt, I would have stepped forward, because I have no doubt.
Ms. Jackson, I do need to ask you, because there is a paternity question, were you sleeping with other people during the relationship with Mr. Brennan?
If we weren't together,
I wish we could
I
take
could
a
do
lie
whatever I
detector
want.
test.
And you also
Absolutely.
disagree with the testimony where they suggested that you told this other guy that he was her biological father.
Yes, I've never told him that.
And why
It's
would he
always
say
been
that?
Johnny since day
Always.
one.
Why
Always
would he
been
say
Johnny.
that?
Why would he say that?
Johnny
to me?
knows this, and he knows how far up
That's the
I
only
was
thing I could
with
think.
him. I was super close
So
to him.
why are you believing
It
him
was
over us?
It was him
Why
and
would he
nobody
lie?
else.
That's what I want to know.
Because
So you don't want to see your
And
granddaughter?
he tells the truth.
You don't want to see your granddaughter because of what someone else
Oh,
said.
I'm going to see her. Believe that.
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to your mother.
Believe
you
that.
want to meddle in any other time?
We'll see.
You're lucky. Okay. Whew.
Oh, I'm
Sorry,
lucky?
Your Honor.
Oh, yeah.
I've had to
I
deal
am
with
lucky.
this
It's a very-
because I get
since
to
they
wake
were
up every
14
day and
years.
see her.
It is a very
I am
intense.
lucky.
It is a
Why would we
very
wanna listen
intense
to that?
situation.
Very.
I
It
see
is.
that. The mamas here. There's a lot going on with the mothers. No, really. And as I see, I mean, I can barely get your daughter to testify because you
I'm
talking
sorry.
over her and pointing, and I mean, it's a lot going on between the mothers, and it makes me wonder, are you two getting in the way of these two young people really having a
I
conversation?
love Haley. No, I love
No,
Haley.
I'm not saying. Well, listen, first of all, let's get something clear that everybody in the gallery knows. All of you care about one another because you all going at it so hard. When you don't care about people, you don't have all this to say.
No, you don't.
You just don't. You just done. This, what I see is our childhood sweethearts and their respective mothers. You have love for her.
I do.
You have love for him.
Yes, I do.
You two still have love for one another. This is obvious for everybody in this room. Raise your hand if you don't believe what I just said. There's not a hand raised in this courtroom. Miss Jackson, you are pretty much now, with the help of your mother, raising this beautiful baby girl by yourself.
Yes.
She's a beautiful little girl,
Yes, she is. Thank you.
and she deserves to know who her biological father is, and she deserves the love and care of her father, her grandmother, and her entire village. Miss Jackson, have you prepared yourself either way, or you still maintain you know for certain Mr. Brennan is Micaiah's biological father?
I'm certain.
Mr. Brennan, have you prepared yourself either way?
Yes, ma'am, I have. If she's mine, I'm coming for her. She's got a house. She's got her own room. She's got everything she needs in Tennessee. If she's not mine, I just don't want nothing to do with them no more. I mean, I'll keep up on with
And
the
I
baby.
will say
but
hallelujah
I
if
don't
you're
wanna
not
hear
the
nothing
dad.
from them. I can't
Believe
even,
me.
I don't even like hearing her voice.
I don't even like hearing yours.
So, Miss Jackson, your daughter just said she knows for certain and has no doubt that Mr. Brennan's the biological father, and then you just say, well, I'll be happy if you're not. So
I know.
is there,
I know
is there?
he's the dad. I know he is.
Oh, so-
'Cause I'm going on what
So
my
you just
daughter
running your
said.
mouth?
I'm just running my mouth.
You should be quiet when it's against your daughter's
Amen.
benefit. You know when to be quiet. Because your daughter says she knows for sure, then you come up talking about, well, I hope he ain't. Well,
I
doesn't-
really, well,
Your
that-
Honor, it doesn't matter
He-
what anybody
he's not
else
gonna
says.
do
As long
anything.
as
I'm sorry?
I know.
They're not
Exactly.
going to do anything anyway. It doesn't matter what the results
so
say.
you're just talking because you're angry.
Very
All right.
angry.
You don't really have a doubt.
I don't have a doubt.
All right. Well, let's see if, in fact, what you've testified to is true. I do have the results for you. Jerome, may I have the envelope, please? These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Jackson versus Brennan, when it comes to 5-year-old Micaiah Jackson, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Brennan, you are the father.
Thank God. And I thought that, but when your friend comes to you and tells you that she says you're not, I mean, you can only wonder. And then when you ask her and she blocks you.
You had the doubt, but now that doubt is done.
Yes, Your Honor.
You wanted to be this beautiful baby's father, and you are.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, this is the legal lesson here. You are not on her birth certificate right now. That's gonna be something you two have to get done immediately. Get that changed, and that's important. Not just for you, Mr. Brennan, that's important for Micaiah. You will then have a legal right to see your child, and you also have a legal responsibility to help care for her financially.
No problem.
I don't think you do have a problem with it. I think it was clear throughout this hearing that you love this baby and you want to be in her life.
More than anything.
But there's too much noise here. Everybody running their mouth, but not enough people coming up with solutions. Right?
Yeah.